This video was recorded in front of a live virtual audience. Hi everybody, Dacob here. Welcome back to the Fashion Bunker. Today we're going to be reviewing Elizabeth Arden's Green Tea. In its current state and formulation, the green tea scent spray Eau Parfumée Vaporisateur. Before we get to the spritzing, the spraying, and the smelling, and the sniffing, and the reviewing, might I remind you that if you like my content on my channel but haven't yet, consider now subscribing to my channel. Push that subscription button. You can go even further and push the join button next to the subscription button. Become a member today and gain access to extra perks. You can also join me on Patreon, superdacob all spelled together there as well, also for extra perks. More about the perks later on in the video. But for now, thank you also to everybody, all the patrons and members who have already pledged. And thank you to all my co-chatters who are with me here live, because this video is being filmed live, who will be co-reviewing the perfume with me. So guys, I told you ahead of time that this was going to be the perfume review. So pull out them guns and let's spritz away. I'm going to spray green tea. I just want to say green garden. 3 spritzes, because this is a light one. Might as well. This is the current formulation. This is the packaging. Look how they cut through that leaf. That's kind of cute that you can see through it. And the ingredients. So this is Elizabeth Arden distribution. This particular batch is made in Spain. It says that it contains green tea and anything else. It contains caffeine. It contains Camellia sinensis leaf powder. These are kind of some of the interesting ingredients. Actually, just these two. So it's supposed to wake you up a little bit if it has a little caffeine, just smelling it. It's very citrusy. Now listen, it's almost, if you're allergic to certain, there's like an orange note in here as well. Yeah, orange peel. It's totally, if you're allergic to orange, you're going to sneeze from this. There's an intense orange there. Now this one came out in 1999, and the nose behind it is none other than the mother, Francis Kurkdjian himself. This is the lightest perfume he ever made. I have the feeling. Because, you know, when I think about Francis, I think about Le Mal by Jean-Paul Gaultier. I think about Eau Noire from, Christian Dior Privé or Maison Dior line. I think about, his Baccarat Rouge from his own brand. But I don't think about green tea. But he did something very subtle here. And this is literally just 4 years before he created Eau Noire, and a couple of years after he created Le Mal. So it's between those two intense pillars, there's this kind of low spot, but it's a trick because this fragrance to me is like a prelude to what will become la fleur du mal. Because of that particular type of neroli-esque orange peel touch to it, it's suave and delicate, and probably quite toned down to what it used to be when it was first released. But we got the current formulation, which, by the way, the batch code is Y20818C. It does have a certain zhuzhiness to it that there's some sort of Francis signature in there, which he managed to create this typical Francis Kurkdjian 90s creation, but making it smell like, in the concept of green tea, herbal, as his stuff can get, given the circumstances that this is a highly synthetic fragrance. It still has a herbal note to it. Very light, stays close to the skin, but nevertheless gives a zesty punch, some sort of kick. Now, if you're not into citruses and into orange, forget about this one, because it's mostly about that, okay? Before you hit the tea, and let me get to the notes. Top notes, you got bergamot, lemon, mint, orange peel, rhubarb. Middle notes, jasmine, oak moss, used to be there, but not listed anymore. Fennel, musk, carnation, white amber. Base notes, green tea. Again, musk, celery seeds, caraway, clove, and amber. The musk is a very toned down, subtle musk. Everything else here, the jasmine, you don't really get it. It's like minuscule, the amounts of jasmine. Clove, no. To me, it stays in the top notes. It's a lemon, bergamot, mint, orange peel, rhubarb scent with green tea. That's how it smells to me. Is it simple? Yes, it is. Quite similar in its simplicity as another fragrance from Elizabeth Arden that I reviewed a short while ago. Do I have it here? I do. Fifth Avenue. And here we got Fifth Avenue by Elizabeth Arden. Also quite simple. It's like almost there's a line that Elizabeth Arden follows with these fragrances. So you could check out the review of Fifth Avenue in the card section up above, but also in the description box down below. I'll post a link to it. It's like there's this leitmotif, that these fragrances follow. They seem to be very user-friendly, and in the surface, very subtle and light. But they only remain subtle and light if you want them to remain superficial. And this is what I really respect about these perfumes. Like it's all about your superficiality. How much, do you want to allow these fragrances to deepen themselves within you and for you and with you? And if you don't want to let them go there, they're going to stay superficial. But if you want to give them a chance, then they will go deeper together with you. And that is amazing. And now with Fifth Avenue, that happens a bit more in depth with the current formulation than it does with green tea. Because green tea maintains that orange peel aspect to it that doesn't allow it to go beyond the citrusy zestiness of fragrances. And usually the citrusy zestiness of fragrances is what makes fragrances smell, nowadays you would maybe even define them sporty, or something nice that you could, wear to the gym. Something refreshing, almost like a cologne that you could, wear to a workout session. And even more so than the lemon/bergamot, it's the orange peel that delivers this kind of punch. But it smells like a signature type of Francis type of peel, of orange peel. It's his type of orange peel note in there. Now I can imagine this one in the 90s was probably, late 90s, early 2000s, probably had even more of a punch, delivered even more of a punch. And the green tea, I do drink green tea from time to time. Smelt it in its dry, leafy form. The fresh plant if there is such a thing as smelling the fresh plant. I have not smelt it. I've only smelt it in dry form. This one is very particular if you warm it up, like when you go with your nostrils to the skin where you sprayed it, and you kind of exhale the hot air from your nose, and then inhale it quickly. You kind of unlock the molecules, the perfume molecules more, and then when you inhale it, then you get this intense smell of something that is like a tea, very, very earthy green. And I do believe that when the oak moss used to be in this perfume, you would pop that oak moss open and it would give that heft and depth to the fragrance that is now not there anymore. There is some chemical substitute to the oak moss, but it almost smells like if you enter a florist, like a flower shop, and they have all those flowers cut and they're kind of sitting in vases or vases, and and there's water in them as well, and you have that smell of not necessarily of the flowers, but more of the green cut the stems or sticks or trunks or leaves or whatever have you, the greenery that's been cut. And all of these different flowers together in one room create almost their own type of ozone effect. And that ozone-y green smell is what you get here in the popping molecule bit. But again, always caressed by the orange peel that doesn't leave it, that doesn't abandon the fragrance ever. Let me spray it again. It's so light that you got to keep respraying it and refreshing it. And now that I've layered new 2 spritzes on top of the 3 that I layered at the beginning of the review, it's kind of interesting how it layers itself. Almost like with makeup, certain makeups, they're very buildable, as they say. You could put a layer on top of a layer on top of a layer and get more density. Same happens with this fragrance. It does have something natural at its core, but in the surface, it gives off a very artificial smell, very synthetic. And this is something that I am not a big fan of, just because to my nose, I mean, again, current formulation. I've smelled similar ingredients in the past, and it just it doesn't soothe me. It doesn't give me that lulling feeling that I love from perfumes. And by lulling feeling, I don't necessarily mean it has to smell ambery, warm, embracing. No, it can be also something skanky. I mean, I'm a huge fan of Jean Patou's Joy, which I have also reviewed on my channel, so you could check that one out as well. Link in the card section up above, but also in the description box down below. Now this one, you smell it and it's indoles to a point where, it's very fecal, indolic. Barnacles and feces, basically. But I love it. And it's, and it makes me feel good. This one doesn't have anything negative about its smell, except the fact that it has a chemical citrusy / orangey opening. And then after that, not much remains. It's like it's been stripped down of everything else. And so, whatever remains is just like a cologne. Like a lemony, citrusy cologne. And that whole tea aspect in here, it might be there, but my nose doesn't recognize it. It doesn't identify it. It doesn't decipher it. It doesn't decode it. It doesn't allow me to synthesize it and pinpoint, okay, Dacob, that's where the green tea is at. I can't really, I can't find it in here. And I think the problem is in this formulation that all that hardcore synthetic citrusy orangey elements, they're kind of very screechy aggressive. And if there is any green tea, I mean, they can't lie about it legally. They're not allowed to lie about it. So it says contains green tea. Doesn't say how much green tea it contains, but whatever amount of green tea it does contain, that amount of green tea ain't strong enough to battle against the synthetics of those orangey, bergamoty, orange peely elements. And they kind of cover up the fragrance, so you never get to the green tea. I never get to the green tea because it keeps kind of pushing out that synthetic opening. So it doesn't really take me on a journey. I always want to go on the journey with this perfume, and I feel like we might just take off. It might just happen. It's just about to happen. And every time I feel like, okay, maybe I found a way to this fragrance. Maybe I found a way to communicate with this fragrance. And every time I think, yeah, okay, so this is a direction this is heading. Okay, let's go on this journey. Every time I think that, and I'm about to embark on the ship, train, bus, scooter, buggy, cart, whatever it is, I'm just about to jump on it, and it kind of just like slides away from me, and I fall on my butt, and I never really fall on this little, I never kind of manage to leave, to depart the station, and it stays on me. Orange peel-y, bergamot-y, citrusy, synthetic. And the ship sails, and I'm kind of in the port still, like waiting. That's as far as this one takes me, you guys. So it's a pass for me, but I did really try. I did try hard to give green tea a good taste, a good sip of tea, but it just didn't want to give me its flavor. So that's my review of Elizabeth Arden's green tea. I know it's like not one of those like groundbreaking reviews, but then again, the perfume in its current form isn't a groundbreaking perfume. So it's like, what story can you tell? Well, just this guy all alone in the port, watching a ship sail away. And he doesn't even know why he missed the ship, but he did. Did he oversleep? He can't remember. Are his suitcases gone? Are the suitcases on that boat? He doesn't even remember if he packed them or not. That's the type of state that green tea kind of leaves you in, or leaves me in. Hope you've enjoyed this review. If you have, thumb up this video. And let's get to the second portion where I read your guys' comments about green tea. Jesus says, well, that's the green tea. That's the tea on green tea. Jam says, is it cheap? You can find it for a really good price. This one is considered, if you're lucky, you could get it for really a low price. I don't want to say it's a cheapie, but you can get, I mean, yeah, I got like, what is this? A 30 mil bottle, under $10. Olfactive Story says, it smells quite sharp and synthetic indeed. Ah, there you have it. Debbie says, yes, Dacob, it does smell like putting a bunch of flowers in a vase. Mm-hmm. Yeah, Debbie says, it's for nostalgia now. Yeah. MK says, fresh tea leaves just smell like camellia leaves. They belong to the same botanical family. Debbie says, it was more powerful in the past. It had the first year's release back. I had the first year's release back then. Olfactive Story says, I just remembered that it was quite sharp in the opening, and I had a lot of green tea after that, of course. I like Body Shop Fuji green tea too. Emilio says, it's the same feeling I get from Chance Eau Tendre Eau de Parfum. Really? No, for me it's different. Madame says, for me, I used green tea and the flankers as body sprays. They don't last at all. Yeah, as a body spray, I can see this much more as a body spray. Emilia says, yes, it's sporty. Shampoo and conditioner realness. It's nice when it's hot and humid, though. Gotta try this one out in summer then, in the summer heat. Right now, as I'm making this review, it is a cool/cold and quite humid April. Time to Musk Up says, great bottle and cap. I mean, it's a cute bottle, right? I mean, you know, simple, but pastel green color, almost jade. Debbie says she's great on a hot day. I'm going to need to let it blossom in summer then, the summer heat. MK says they always like to mix citrusy notes on top of tea notes. I own L'Île au Thé by Goutal and Thé pour un été from L'Artisan Parfumeux. Both smell more citrusy than actual tea scents. Mia says, wait, I had no clue Francis Kurkdjian made this one. I'm telling you, I was shocked too. Francis Kurkdjian made green tea. I see Emilio now going, okay, let me order one. I mean, for reference purposes, we need to smell it because Francis made it and we love Francis. Jam says, maybe a nice scent for going to sleep. You won't smell it within like 10 minutes, Jam. Sure, if you're really tired and you just want to have 2 sniffs of it before you kind of lull yourself to sleep, then yes. I mean, you could try to put this on your pillow. Maybe it will last longer. Spraying it on the sheets before you go to bed, maybe. MK says, Dacob, this one is not the only tea-based perfume that smells synthetic. Most of the fragrances I know in the market do smell synthetic. Rara says, I find that fragrances I find too sharp or high-pitched soften in heat and humidity. So Rara, I mean, do you like this one? I'm definitely going to give it a try in the heat then. Then this one definitely deserves another run, a test run, trial run in the summer heat. So, I mean, if in the summer heat this one blows my mind, you know, I'm definitely going to revisit it and give it another review for sure because, I mean, it deserves, you know. 60 sprays ought to do it, says Kira. Yeah, totally. I believe the fragrance I thought about is the Moon by Floraiku. But I like what Rara says. I find that fragrances I find too sharp or high-pitched soften in heat and humidity. Best example is this little beauty here, Eden by Cacharel. This one is an incredible beast. And it's so tamed and beautifully florally blossoming, bloomy in the hottest of heats of days, of summery days. So guys, thank you so much for tuning in, for co-reviewing and for co-reviewing Elizabeth Arden's green tea. Hope you've enjoyed this review. Thumb it up if you have enjoyed it. And if you haven't yet, consider subscribing to my channel now. Push the join button next to the subscription button. You gain access to extra perks. Also, by joining me on Patreon, superdacob all spelled together on Patreon. Become a patron today. What are these perks I was talking about in the beginning of the video? Well, one of them is your name listed here in the scrolling bar after every video, listing you as the co-producer of the Fashion Bunker. Then you also gain access to special videos that never come to YouTube but stay exclusive to Patreon and my members. You also gain access to special live pre-shows and warm-up party shows before the main live streams. Every live stream you get a pre-show, and you get, as a member, extra little emojis that you get to use, but also extra badges, which are super cute little perfume bottles that fill up. The more you stay member, the more the perfume bottle fills up. This is just an example of some of the perks. You get also reductions on merch, special offers. I mean, it's worth it. Join the Fashion Bunker Patreon and member family. Thank you so much for all the patrons and members who have already pledged and joined. And thank you to all my co-chatters and co-reviewers in the live chat to the side here. I'm a big fan of Francis Kurkdjian. I, in particular, adore Eau Noire, his creation for Dior. And I know that it is a bit of a cliche, but I do love Le Mal. You know, the original Le Mal, the first Le Mal. It is... Francis does lavender like nobody's business, you know. In fact, you know, Eau Noire is also about lavender and licorice. But Le Mal is also about lavender. But anyway, just saying. So, maybe this one needs another trial run or test run in summer. Up until then, I can tell you for now in April, it ain't it. But let's give it another go in summer perhaps. Until then, never forget to never give up on love. Love you all. See you soon. Take care. Bye. Mwah.